I want to share with you journaling techniques. Here they are. At the very beginning, I want to make a clear distinction what is diary and what is journaling. Diary is something what usually we write about places we've been and people met and what happened and who said what and how did we respond. So you've seen probably movies written like Dear Diary. Journaling is nothing like that. Journaling is not so much reflecting on events as putting down questions. I will share with you some techniques from my own life. First of all, I started journaling when I attended one Christian course, and as a daily routine, what we called quiet time, we wrote down something what we found out during the prayer time or Bible reading time. I want to show what I am taking with me everywhere, and that is this old journal. And there are gems for myself. That's why I'm taking this with me. For that was time when I was seeking myself, and that is one of those things why journaling is so effective, that we can go back in time even after many years, like here it was 2011, and compare where I am now. Do I still believe those things? Have I achieved those things? It's very super helpful to connect with me in that time. Through this thing, I discovered journaling method, and that is using colors in my journaling. In this time, there were no, at least I didn't know any YouTube channels or art journaling, anything like that. It was something that came into my journal by practicing, and I experienced such epiphany, such a revelation about my own life, that later I started to teach these techniques for other women. But that's not art journaling. The next method, what I personally discovered and I want to share, is technique which is called morning pages. And I will not teach here about morning pages. The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron, it was very useful technique which I still keep. I have seen that a lot of people, they are trying to teach about morning pages, but what I would say is that it's not possible to teach about morning pages apart from the book. It is because that's not only writing down, just unfiltering what's going on into your head on 3 pages. But Julia gives for every week special assignments, actually assignment set. She gives what I call theory, which we read about what's going on into our lives, and somehow through that process it changes our understanding about ourselves, and that's not only about journaling. So morning pages, that's very special technique which I do not recommend doing apart from the book which is provided by author Julia Cameron. I use this technique a lot in my courses and programs, and I have seen changes in many lives. So that's another technique. I published this book for women. I wanted to do something about inspiration for the day, which helps women to make daily changes in their relationships. In that time when I had my child 1 year old or so, I thought I wish that someone would write a book which I could read little piece by little piece each day, which would help me and inspire and just set direction in the day. And I wrote this in a way like coloring book as well, enough space for writing and also a lot of prompts. But in this time, I just followed my intuition. I created a journal. In that time, I didn't know about art therapy, art journaling. Only when I started to study, then I realized there are a lot of things I don't know, and then I started to create something what I would call art journaling. It would be more like learning how to draw and at the same time jotting down some of inspirational quotes what I had or recording my thought process. In that time I was reading Elizabeth Gilbert's book The Big Magic, and I jotted down a lot of quotes from that book, and then I connected with some images. It really was helping me to remember what I'm reading. That was another way how I used journaling to remember things what I'm reading, so that I don't forget them, but I can apply in a daily life. So that's another way of journaling. And then during lectures, when we were, for example, when we were studying about addictions, I created journal like this. There's like images and something what I write, and I write using different colors of pencils, and that's the way how I operate, because we humans, we have, at least that's what scientists say, we have left brain and right brain, and one part is thinking more in words, like more cognitive, and then we have more visual and all kinds of parts of the brain. All of them we can use, and why not? Why don't use images? And then gradually I have developed lots of journaling like techniques and types, and like here, this small one is like a logbook for me, and this is what I learned from Still Like an Artist. That author describes how to create logbook. That's another way, because it's the way how to actually see how much we have done. Can write in morning page, I want to do this and that in a day, and then this one helps me to do follow-up. Did you really do what you said? What did you do? And as well to do it in a creative way. It's not just writing, but you put down also images and develop your creative side. And then I have this one, which I have titled Advices to Myself. I put special, I would say, pieces of information which I do not want to forget ever, which is like rules in life, or my manifesto, which helps me to focus back to where did I go, what did you want to do, how does it go together with what you are doing, how does it go together with your rules in life, or with your understanding of yourself or who you are. So very crucial things are kept here. So when I feel lost in a day or in some task, or when I feel like there's something not right, am I doing right thing, then I grab this one and I start reading it, and then I find something which helps me to come back to where I wanted to go again. So that's another technique. And then, this one is already for how many years? For 3 years. I started this one. I really like the color and dream big. And then I started to write, and I realized that I really love to use colors. If you want, I can share with you more about these techniques in my next videos. Just write here in comments which of the journaling style or method you would love to explore more, and I can make a more detailed video about that. And this one is my go-to notebook where I put down things that I don't want to forget in a day. And this is my newest one, and that's about what I call my business book, what I learn in a business. I bought it just because I liked how it looks. I'm very visual, yeah, and that's how I write it now. There's no images, just I like to use different colors. And this one is my art journal. I have titled it My Journey. Like, for example, here's from one book. I really like this quote. I printed this out, and then I worked into with everything around. I will not explain in one video this. That's kind of complicated. I usually show this in my membership for women. We have where I teach all these things in more details. Here is, for example, a quote from Alice in Wonderland. Maybe you know that quote about Alice meeting a cat and asking which way does this road go, and cat says, where do you want to go? And she says, I don't know. And then cat says, then it really doesn't matter where that goes. And here is also something, the way how I work on what's going on into my head. And here is, this one is my dream from childhood, how I am working on this dream. There are many journaling styles, methods and ways, and what you can do. And once you begin journaling, then you just follow to whatever you feel like doing, and maybe you will invent your own journaling technique which is very useful to you. These have been very useful to me. So if you never have explored journaling, I encourage you to do so. Have fun.